Have you ever felt exhausted, not because the world is too loud, but because you can't understand yourself? Why do I react this way? Why do old wounds keep resurfacing? Why, despite all my efforts, do I still feel not quite okay? You're not alone. And perhaps, what you need right now isn't advice, motivation, or an escape, but a map to guide you back to yourself. That map is psychology. In this video, we'll explore how studying psychology will help your mental health. Not just as an academic subject, but as a healing journey. A journey to understand yourself, understand others, and ultimately, to forgive yourself. Part 1: Understanding yourself is no longer a mystery. We often experience complex emotions, sadness without clear reason, anger followed by regret, or feeling drained by seemingly minor issues. But the most painful part isn't having these emotions. It's not understanding where they come from. Sparkles from chaos clarity. When you begin studying psychology, even just the basics like defense mechanisms, attachment needs, or trauma responses, you'll start to realize. Turns out, I'm not strange. I'm just reacting in a very human way. For instance, have you ever felt angry because someone forgot about you? Psychology can help you see that behind that anger lies a fear of abandonment, possibly rooted in childhood. Understanding this means you no longer need to suppress or blame yourself. You start to listen to your emotions as valuable signals, not mistakes to eliminate. You're no longer battling yourself. Studying psychology is like holding a mirror, but one that shows you compassion. You begin to understand why you're anxious, why you're easily moved, or why you keep choosing the wrong people to love. And instead of saying, "Why am I so weak?" you say, "Oh, I'm afraid of getting hurt. So I withdraw. Oh, I'm being defensive. It's okay, I'll take a deep breath." You start having conversations with yourself, not with harshness, but with kindness. Unlocked psychology is the key to unlocking emotions. Before, you only saw the surface: anger, sadness, insecurity. Now, you can reach the depths: hurt, longing for love, prolonged loneliness that no one has named. And that's the first step to healing. Understanding, so you no longer need to run away. Facing it, to begin loving. You don't need to be stronger. You need to be understood correctly. And psychology doesn't just help you understand others. But first and foremost, it helps you understand yourself in a kind, accurate, and deeply human way. Part 2: Seeing the roots of pain. Throughout our lives, we often experience pain. Yet, what's more daunting than the pain itself is not understanding why it hurts. Have you ever felt this way? A casual remark from someone keeps you awake all night. An indifferent glance makes you feel invisible, as if you never existed. A rejection leaves you feeling unworthy, unloved. These wounds often don't originate in the present. They're echoes from the past. Psychology serves as a beacon, illuminating the path backward in time, helping you realize, this pain began long before this incident occurred. Unhealed past, repeating present. As you delve into psychology, you'll start recognizing patterns. Why do you often choose partners who don't value you? Why can't you bear the feeling of abandonment, even if it's just a few hours of silence? Why do you always feel the need to try harder to be worthy of love? At this point, you understand. Your current reactions might stem from unmet needs in the past. Childhood wounds don't vanish, they transform, from parents to lovers, classmates to colleagues, childhood to adulthood. Light bulb: knowing the source frees you from self-blame. Instead of saying, "Why am I so weak? Why am I so sensitive over trivial matters?" you begin to say, Ah, this is an old wound speaking. I'm not overly sensitive. I've endured too much in silence. And with that, you start soothing yourself, rather than continuing to judge. Seedling understanding to heal, not to blame. Psychology doesn't teach you to blame your parents or your past. It helps you revisit the past with compassion, to understand why you hurt, and choose not to hurt anymore. Understanding is the first step to letting go. And the moment you see the root is when you're no longer afraid of that painful tree. Pain is just a part of the story. The rest is your choice, once you understand why you're hurting. Psychology provides you with the language to name your wounds, so you're no longer lost within your own emotions. Because when you know where the pain comes from, you won't let it lead you anymore. Part 3: Learning healthy coping instead of unconscious reactivity. Have you ever wondered, why do I overreact to minor issues? Why do I avoid emotions or suddenly disconnect from loved ones during conflict? Why do I feel empty and regretful after arguments, yet repeat the same patterns? The answer often lies in a key concept: unconscious reactions. Brain unconscious reactions, when fear acts on your behalf. Unconscious reactions are behaviors formed in the past when we lacked the skills to face pain. Examples include snapping to hide vulnerability. Very well mind. +1. Cam. +1. Withdrawing to avoid rejection. Over-pleasing to prevent abandonment. These behaviors weren't consciously chosen, they were survival strategies your brain adopted. Studying psychology, learning conscious responses. By understanding psychological mechanisms, you realize every outburst masks a deeper fear. Every disconnection is self-protection from hurt. Every controlling behavior stems from internal insecurity. This awareness grants you the power to choose differently. Instead of yelling, pause and ask, what's truly hurting me? Instead of fleeing, stay and express, I feel unsafe, I need you to listen. Instead of blaming, acknowledge, I'm triggered by past memories. I don't want to repeat this. Healthy responses, protecting yourself without self-harm. Understanding psychology helps you collaborate with your emotions, soothe inner wounds, and choose compassionate interactions with yourself and others. It's not easy, but it's a learnable process. No one is born with perfect emotional skills, we all learn through trial and error. Psychology provides the roadmap, so you're no longer reacting blindly. Recognizing your ability to choose is the first step toward healing. Part 4: Understanding the connection between mind, emotion, and behavior. Many of us grow up unaware that the mind thinks one thing, the heart feels another, and the body acts differently. You might feel confused by your overreactions, ashamed of actions that contradict your values, or exhausted from self-judgment. If you felt this way, know it's not your fault. Brain, mind, beating heart, emotion, exploding head, behavior. Psychology reveals the sequence connecting these layers. A negative thought, I'm not good enough, leads to hurt feelings, I feel worthless, resulting in withdrawal, I avoid opportunities, fear connection. An unconscious belief, if I don't please others, I'll be abandoned, triggers anxiety, leading to overexertion despite exhaustion. Magnifying glass tilted left, seeing the links helps you untangle. Instead of asking, why do I act this way? Begin to ask, what emotion is being triggered? What belief is operating in the background? This shift transforms you from a victim of your behavior to an observer, understander, and healer. Inner connection is the first step to freedom. When you comprehend what your mind tells you daily, what your heart longs for, what fears your behavior conceals, you start reconciling conflicting parts within yourself. No longer performing a fine version of yourself, you learn to listen to yourself before seeking understanding from others. Mind, emotion, and behavior are the three pulses of a vibrant inner life. Connecting these pulses frees you from nameless reactions. You act consciously, love with understanding, and heal deeply. Thus, you don't just feel better, you live more authentically. Part 5. Learning to empathize with yourself and others. Most of us are familiar with the concept of empathy, but few have been taught how to give and receive it properly. And even fewer realize that the empathy you extend to others always begins with the gentleness you offer yourself. Cloud with rain. When you've never experienced empathy, you blame yourself. You might ask, why am I so weak? Why can't I get over the past? Why do I react this way? I should be stronger. Psychology helps you understand. Your reactions aren't irrational. Your pain has roots. You deserve to be understood, not fixed. Self-empathy. When you begin to listen, you start to see yourself not through a lens of criticism, but with the gentle eyes of a true friend. Instead of saying, I'm terrible, you ask, what do I need right now? What inside me remains unhealed? This isn't indulgence. It's the foundation of kindness. And that kindness can then extend to others. Brain psychology teaches that everyone has an inner mountain. When you understand that others' behaviors reflect their experiences, you no longer react with anger, hurt, or distance. You begin to realize those who are controlling may have felt powerless. Those who are cold may have been abandoned. Those who hurt others may themselves be in pain. This doesn't mean you must stay or endure, but you stop hurting yourself by thinking it's your fault. Seedling. When you embrace empathy, you choose responses over reactions. You begin to understand. When someone hurts you, you don't need to retaliate. When you make a mistake, you don't need to punish yourself. When a relationship becomes unhealthy, you don't need to stay to prove your worth. You learn to leave without resentment. You learn to stay without losing yourself. Empathy isn't just something you give to others. It starts with you, by allowing yourself to feel sadness, vulnerability, mistakes, and to heal through love. When you study psychology, you learn to be human in a kind, genuine way. Because ultimately, mental health doesn't come from stabilizing everything externally, but from being gentle with your inner self. When you begin studying psychology, you're not just learning theories, mechanisms, or behaviors. You're delving into the depths of humanity, into how we love, fear, hurt, and hope. You realize you're not too sensitive, not too weak, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're simply carrying unacknowledged pieces within. And each page of psychology, each small concept, becomes a gentle mirror, reflecting you back to yourself, without judgment, without shame. How studying psychology will help your mental health isn't just about understanding others. It's about returning to yourself, more gently, more wholly. You deserve to be understood. You deserve to heal. And you deserve a life that's not just okay, but truly peaceful.